Sup Flappers, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the reset for the Spiral Abyss, what I did to clear it, and we're going to be talking about the shop a little bit, as I see a lot of the newer players here are like, oh Wars, what do I do? What should I get in the shop? It's so overwhelming. So sit back, relax, follow along, and let's just preface everything by saying the way that I'm going to tell you guys is not the one and only way to do anything. If you guys want a second opinion, there's a ton of other creators online that gives second opinions, but just cross-reference things with what everyone else is saying and then see exactly what you need. There are a ton of resources online to help you out with that, and without further ado, like, subscribe, jump into the video right now. So with the current reset of the Spiral Abyss, I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it's definitely more tedious. In some cases, a lot more tedious. And let's be honest here, the first half is so much easier than the second half. It's outrageous. I think at some point, MiHoYo just decided to completely give freebies away in the first half and have the second half be some of the most obnoxious abominations that they can conjure up. So let's talk about Chamber 1. Chamber 1, the first half is fairly simple. Having some sort of DPS can help you clear it. The second half is a real race against time. The biggest problem is the mob's mobility. And man, do they jump around. It's going to be extremely difficult for people to one-shot them if you don't have any C6 characters or very invested units with pay-to-win weapon. Of course, you can still do it. Large AoE comps such as Electro Charge, when you don't really have to be hitting both at the same time to have the damage spread out to other units, can also help people with weaker accounts also clear through this very easily. If you want 36 stars, it's going to be tough, trust me. It's a huge damage check, as well as having to constantly refresh through the Abyss to make sure you get the mob's position right. And let me tell you why MiHoYo put this abomination in the second half is to make sure that if you're gonna retry it, you're gonna have to go through the first half as well. So, you know, right? Come on, let's be honest here. Do you think MiHoYo couldn't have put the Wolf Lord in the first half and have you just spam retry until you get that perfect run? Of course they could have. But why would they, right? 36 star is supposed to be the challenge here. However, they find a way to do it that's a little more tedious than usual. So for those chasing 36 stars as a free-to-play, this is not going to be the video. Honestly, I don't have the time nor the patience to sit through here spamming 12, 15, 20 attempts for second half to find the perfect team. But just know that it's doable. It's just really annoying. Talking about the second half, the first half is a breeze for most people. In fact, the first half is going to be where you want to perfect the run to get as many seconds as you can. So any team in the first half will do, even single target teams such as Yoimiya, Hu Tao, you got your machine gun officials. It's going to be fine the first half. The second half is where you're going to really struggle. You're going to have to bring a Geo character, and hey, we're going to talk about this a little in the shop later. MiHoYo has all this stuff planned out for you, all right? And the biggest problem, again, with the second half is this boss has so many animations that it's very difficult to pin down, and you have to understand your damage windows. And if you just want to beat the boss, bringing a Geo like what I did, you're gonna beat it no problem. It would help if you have a healer as well, because this boss applies a lot of corrosion and it doesn't give you many opportunities to heal as you're constantly running around, especially during the phase where he summons the wolf heads. So for those who have Kokomi, who have Chi-Chi, who have any sort of healers, you're gonna greatly benefit from this. And for people who doubted when I say that this boss was gonna make it into the Abyss eventually, you know, right here we are talking about this. It did come out one patch earlier than I thought they would have it, but nonetheless, it's here now, and most likely it's going to be here until Sumeru. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. We're going to be stuck with this boss for another 3-4 patches, so you better get used to its mechanics and damage windows. With that said, let's move into the third chamber. In the third chamber, first half, absolutely a joke again, and the second half, we have the hyperactive boys here. They just jumping all over the map, and for anybody who's playing this like I did, where you're heavily reliant on damage through a burst skill such as Ito, you're gonna have a bad time, all right? It's gonna be much better playing something like Melt Ganyu or even Raiden Shogun or whatever you have on hand. Any unit that struggles with energy gain to begin with, you're gonna be struggling even more here with a triple Geo team and Zhongli even running the Favonius Lance. It was not enough to consistently cycle through my Ito's burst skill, and trust me when I said my time suffered. This is my first playthrough. I completely got slapped at the end, but making some adjustments, coming back, I do think a Ganyu on the second team is going to clear this fairly easily. Ayaka can work, but Ayaka's damage falls off a cliff once her burst skill is not available, so it's still in a way a character that's heavily reliant on their burst to deal damage. So congrats to those who picked up Ganyu. You're gonna have a fairly easy time. For those who have Yoimiya and a Zhongli, just have her stand on a Zhongli pillar and shoot away at the Golden Wolf Lord. And for the first chamber over here, Ganyu can take care of this stuff fairly easily. The Bloom can hit a big enough AoE to reach both of these monsters most of the time, and most likely that's what I'm going to be doing. Going through this again and using Ganyu to try to get 36 stars, I don't think it's going to be too difficult. Even for my Ganyu who's level 80 and C0, it's just going to take a couple retries. Alright, so with that said, let's take a look at the shop for the resets while we're here. Let's take a look here. Ningguang and Xingqiu. Man, oh man, I wonder why Ningguang's in the shop. Maybe it's for the people who are not prepared to deal with what's going on in the Spiral Biz. So hey, you know, if you have 34 star glitter, come here, pick up a Ningguang. Having that Geo character is going to really help you crush through the Chamber 2 second half of the Abyss. Xingqiu is a no-brainer. However, probably only need to get him up to C2. If you have Xingqiu beyond C2, you can probably skip this. Followed by that, we have the Black Cliff weapons. Now, unlike the Royal weapons, these ones are some really good free-to-play options for many characters in the game. However, don't get baited into them too early, too fast. In fact, a lot of their effects only benefits if you kill an enemy. So, for example, let's take a look at the Black Cliff slash. After defeating an opponent, attack is increased by 12% for 30 seconds, and you can stack this 3 times. Same with the Black Cliff Pole. Same with the Black Cliff Agate, and it's the same with the bow. All these weapons has the effect of getting additional damage after you've already killed an enemy. Now, if you guys are smart, you'll quickly realize what on earth are you going to be killing to get this bonus during Abyss 12. Because let's be honest, you're going to pick up weapons because you want to crush Abyss 12. For the first half, usually, yes, you can benefit slightly from it with the smaller wolves, but once you start hitting Chamber 2 and Chamber 3 as well, you're not getting as big of a buff in most cases as you would like with this particular weapon. You're not gaining that advantage, okay? So to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not going to suggest anybody nowadays pick up the Black Cliff series. Overworld-wise, you don't need to invest in these weapons either, as it's just a complete joke, and in the Abyss nowadays, miHoYo doesn't even give you an opportunity to really utilize their effects to the fullest. Apart from that, going into the second page here, you should really look to pick up the old handguard and Kageguchi handguard if you have the resources here. If not, it's fine. Raiden Shogun's coming out. You probably want to start farming that, and of course, you got the free stuff over here. Apart from that, I wouldn't suggest you guys buy anything else from the shop unless you're really in desperate need of it. To be honest, it's better if you just take the time and slowly farm out. I bought these two because I'm too lazy to go farm. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and go farm for like 2-3 hours for the samurais. I've already massacred enough of them at this point. I feel like they just want to be left alone. So I'm gonna keep the mass murdering to a minimum going forward. All right. But for you guys, go ham. With that said, I'm pretty sure this shop reset is pretty straightforward. It's great to see Xingqiu coming back in here for people who need him, and Ningguang for people who really want a dedicated Geo DPS, and we're just closing out on some constellations for this character. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching this. To be honest, do I think this Abyss is harder? I don't think it's harder. I think it's a lot more tedious, and it's starting to funnel you towards characters that have been more recently released as opposed to older casts of units. And this was to be expected, right? If you watch my videos, I've said this from like 3-4 months ago that the Golden Wolf Lord is going to come out at some point. When we first got the mini Wolf Lord, watch, we probably are going to get bigger, badder monsters going forward with all variant types. Who knows? Maybe with the armored soldier we got in Economia, we're gonna get a bigger, badder version of them, like a huge giant knight that you have to fight with huge defense or something, or he has a mechanic where he buffs himself defense-wise mid-fight or some crap like that. Guess what kind of units are gonna really benefit from shredding that? Probably a C6 Yamiko, probably a C2 Raiden Shogun. Who knows? I'm just ballparking, and I just happened to be right a couple times. Going forward, let's see what's gonna happen. All right, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Hope this is helpful. well, share down below what you think of the new Abyss, and let me tell you guys, it's going to be very polarized. People say this is the worst Abyss ever, there's going to be people saying this is the easiest Abyss ever, because depending on what you built, you're going to have a different experience with the game. All right, my name is Erotic Walrus, and with that said, concluding the video, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream and future videos. Until then, urge you all to stay safe and peace.